Hey, what's going on? So today I'm gonna go over a book that I read about last year, I think. But I still had the book. I was just looking up and figured, hey, might as well share it. Um, but one of the things I was thinking about was, reading more dead trees is not a good thing for the lives for the resources on our planet. But I do have to say that there are a lot of books out there, um, lots of different books, lots of different concepts, lots of different topics. You know, pick up a book. Um, give yourself some time in the morning. Wake up a little earlier, or everyone else is sleeping, and take about an hour. Just get 20 pages in per day, and you'll build up to more and more pages per day so that you can read a book. I think one of the biggest things I learned from the Dave Ramsey plan is that reading is a huge has a huge impact to your thinking. It has a huge impact to your reasoning, to your understanding of the world around you, and you also learn so many things from just reading a book. And it could be any type of book. It could be a book about parenting, book about someone's life, a memoir like this one we're going to talk about. It could be a sci-fi book. I mean, anything. That way you can get your mind going. I think I was reading something today, and it talked about spaghetti diagrams or something like that. And you know when you're mapping how something is supposed to be, or how something works, you kind of have this weird spaghetti map in your brain about how those different things connect, the different steps involved. For, like, let's say you were going to wash your car. There's all these different things that happen that are interdependent, that are sometimes modular, sometimes functional. They just all make this whole spaghetti map that doesn't make sense at all when you look at it, but that's kind of how our brain works. We're constantly making all these interdependencies happen on the fly in the back of our minds subconsciously. And you've got to take the time to sometimes either meditate and put those pieces together. For me, I think my meditation is like walking or reading, or just kind of like sitting in silence. Uh, I think those things are really important for our health and well-being. But anyway, this book right here, "Eat the Apple," it's a phrase. My uncle Danielle had sent this to me because, just some background. He was a Marine, or he's a Marine. I'm a Marine, and it was coincidental that I joined the Marine Corps. I didn't know he was a Marine. He That was revealed to me like right before or right after, I think I went to the Marines, and it was just a very surreal experience because he's one of my biggest role models in life. He's a lot of the things, and a lot of the things I do, or a lot of reasons why I do the things I do today, are because of him. So I just big thanks to him, and I really love and appreciate everything he's done for me and my family for my whole life. But he sent me this book because he picked it up and read it, and he called me to ask, or he sent me an email to ask me, like, "Hey, have I ever read this book?" And I told him no. Or have I ever heard of this phrase? And I said no. Now, a little bit of background. There's In some ways there are different types of Marines. There are the East Coast Marines, and then there are the West Coast Hollywood Marines. That's the phrase. These are just classifications you know of people inside of the military. But this book is about the life of a Hollywood Marine or West Coast Marine, and this is Mike Allen. Or Matt Young. He's the author, and he writes his experience about being in the Marine Corps, and in San Diego, and on the West Coast. I have to say that this is by far one of the most interesting books to read, because as an East Coast Marine, as you know, as this East Coast Marine, I had a different experience than what this person had. I remember joining and wanting to be stationed in, like, Hawaii and Okinawa and all these other freaking places. But in the end, after in the aftermath of all this and my experience, I'm very happy that I ended up in North Carolina. This book further enforces why. So I would say that one of the best stories in this book involves Matt's experience with, you know, towards the end of his contract, he's having these, these thoughts, like doubts almost. Should I get out? Why should I get out? I'm leaving people behind. And then you go through this rampage of like just crazy negligent experiences that it just made me think about my whole experience exiting the Marine Corps. And this book, it does a really good job explaining subconsciously what's going on in your mind as an 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 year old who is being put under in the ringer, as some would say, or being put to the test to be an adult, to be responsible, to try and avoid temptation, or how to handle the consequences after you've been exposed to those temptations. This is a crazy book. Yes, there are sex, drugs, and entertainment all throughout this book. And I think about my Marine Corps career. There were sex, drugs, and entertainment. Not I didn't do any drugs, but I know that it was involved. I know that there was it existed, and that's only because you hear about people who run away. You hear about people who get discharged dishonorably. You hear about people who get court-martialed, and it's all around you. It's so insane. It's so insane. But my experience in the Marine Corps was, I would say, vastly different than this guy's experience, because I think this person missed out on an opportunity to do something. I can't remember which year he decided to go in. I think he went in after me. Yeah, so 2005. So I went in 2002. So this person had a very different experience. I was already in Iraq. I had already done missions. I was already a seasoned Marine. By the time this person went into the Marine Corps, it was a different Marine Corps. It was a very drastically different Marine Corps. And I think that's what makes this book very interesting, because I think what I'm feeling is that if I would have waited just another 2 years or something, I would have had a very different experience in the Marine Corps. I would have had different opportunities. I would not have been able to do the things that I did and had the experiences that I had. And this person went in 2 years later after me and had vastly different experiences that, just some of them are just surreal. Some of them are just completely surreal. So key points: there's a lot of sex, drugs, and entertainment. There's a lot of real life experience in this book. I think Matt did a fantastic job writing down what he was thinking at those times and doing a good job of conveying that to the reader. So anybody who's wondering what it's like being a Marine, anybody who's wondering what it's like to being a Marine and missing out on stuff, anybody who's wondering what it's like being a Marine and having to be shell shocked by all the crazy stuff that can happen while you're in the Marine Corps, this is a very good book. I wish I had the ability to write my time in the Marine Corps. And yeah, anyway, Eat the Apple. Very good book. I've never used the phrase before, but I highly suggest reading this book to find out what this phrase means. If not, I guess you can just Google it. All right, folks. It was nice. I hope you all had a good one. I'll see you all tomorrow.